around probably 30 minutes ago. And so I've just got me a little bit of coffee right here. Yeah, love. Let all you do be done in love. But we need to have a serious talk. We need to have a very serious talk because things are getting very serious in this world, in the spiritual realm, and it's manifesting into the physical realm. What will you do when the time comes, and that time is going to come? That time's going to come, and you're going to have to make those very, very tough decisions that you are not having to make right now. We are given a little bit of time, and I mean a little bit. But what are we going to do when that time comes? Are we going to bend, and are we going to cave in to the pressure? Are we going to give away that part of us just so that we can have the life that we have right now? Are we willing to give up a lot of things? Are we? That's the question that I ask myself. Am I willing to give up my life, my life, the life that I have now, in order to have the movement, in order to maintain the life that I am currently living? So with that being said, hello wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart to yours, and thank you for being here. I think that's a very serious questions that we're going to have to be pondering, because we're going to have to answer those questions for ourselves, and we need to start thinking, what will I do when that time comes? Because it's going to come. They're already going door to door in India, and they're asking questions, and depending on what you give, uh, that's going to determine whether or not you get the stamp of approval. This is door to door. Yeah, it's door to door. And the same thing with jobs. The time is going to come, and it seems like October is a very significant time stamp on the timeline. It is it's a midpoint for something. So we're looking at a couple months. Uh, yeah, but some people right now have already had to make those difficult decisions, and I know it's a position that you have been put in that you should have never been put in. No one should ever have to be put in that position to where you make a choice, but that is the time that we're living in. We are being made to make a choice whether we want to make it or not. And it's going to be, do you continue to have the life that you have? Or do you say no and then lose it all? Because some people will lose it all. They'll lose all of their material things they have right now. They will. And some people will have to walk away with just the clothes on their back. Walk away from it all. And it's not uncommon in times like this. It's not. When countries go to war and things, you will see throughout history there is documentation of people having to walk away from it all with just the clothes on their back or whatever they can carry. They have to leave. They can't take nothing with them, nothing. And they say that happens also when your body is no more. You can't take it. You can't take any of this stuff with you to the grave. You can't. And it's sad that in this lifetime that people have been faced with that serious situation where they literally, they can't take nothing with them. They have to leave. At times, some people, in certain situations in history, it's been documented where an enemy comes and they give you 15 minutes. You are to vacate that house, vacate that land that you have been living on for hundreds of years, your whole family, throughout generations. Vacate it and leave, and you can't take nothing. You have to just leave. Could you imagine being put in that situation? And you didn't have a choice. You had to leave. Of course, you could stand your ground and fight for it if that was your decision. Um, but some, they just walked away. They saved what was left of themselves. You know, I've done that myself. I have walked away of several different things in my life. Even though I liked what I had, like the jobs I had, I literally, they were really good paying jobs. They were. But then I realized that even though they were good paying jobs, this person on the inside of me, this is what mattered the most, my spirit on the inside of me. Would I stay in a situation and let my spirit on the inside of me slowly die? Could I live with myself? No, because I was dying. I was dying on the inside. The longer I tried to hold on, the more I died. The more of me just kept breaking away. And I had to come to that point where, is it worth it? Is it worth it to hang on thinking I can tough it out? Is it worth it? It was not worth it. I literally, I just walked away. I've done it before. I've done it several times before in different situations. And it's a sacrifice that you make in order to save. The most important thing is this person on the inside of here, your spirit. Your spirit. Because your spirit will live on. Okay, but this body, the more stress that's put on your body, it's going to cause you a whole lot of health problems. It is, and I don't know why I'm saying this part, but we will have to make those very tough decisions in our life, and people are having to make them. Do you want a job? Then you have to do this. There's strings attached. And you will have a choice. You will. It won't be forced. But you won't have a job. And you won't be able to go to and fro. You won't be able to do any of that. Um, and I'm very, it really, it saddens me on the inside that we have to make decisions like that in our lifetime. There are always strings attached to things. And it shouldn't be. It should not be. There was never strings attached before, but now all of a sudden something has attached strings, have put conditions upon our lives. Our lives have now got conditions placed upon them, and we'll see more conditions placed upon them. And I know it's hard. I know it's so hard. When you have family and you have children, you have to have money to live. You've got to have money to put food on your table, and you want to do the best that you can for your family. And it's a very, very, very tough decision. I just want you to know that you have to do what's best for you on the inside of here, what's best for you and your family. And if your conscience is convicting you, I wouldn't want to go against my conscience. It's a hard life to live. It's a very hard life to live. If you have to go against your conscience. So could you fault someone for wanting to stick it out and go against their conscience for the sake of others? Could you really blame a person who wanted to feed their family, who wanted to keep that roof over their head? Um, if you look at it from a human level, I don't blame them. If that's the decision they feel they need to make for their family, I don't. Um, but it's very hard to live with that when you're going against your own conscience and you look around and you know that that was the decision that you were forced to make. Even though it was your decision, you felt you had no other choice. Um, we're going to have to make those difficult decisions. And I'm not going to say that you're not. I'm going to have to make those difficult decisions one day. It's going to come down to me. I don't have uh, an easy life. Okay, I can't take my life for granted. It can be gone in an instant, and it's easy. It's like when a natural disaster strikes, and your home is destroyed by a natural disaster. You're left with nothing. You're even lucky if you get away with your life. See, because when it comes right down to it, that's what matters. It matters is you matter, your family, your friends matter, humanity matters. That's when it comes right down to it. That's what truly matters. And I know it's coming. It's coming, you all. And there's things that are written about it. And some may think there's a lot of talk about. Some believe that we are in the book of Revelations. If you've even looked at Revelations, that's a book in the Bible that people try to stay far away from because it's an apocalyptic book. It's a prophetic book, but there is some truth in it, and there are striking similarities that are documented in it that parallel what's happening today. There are, and I can't ignore it. I cannot ignore what's going on in that book. One moment, you all. I got to turn this heat off. I turn this little heater on because I like to have a little bit of heat. Okay, that's good. That's good, you all. There are striking similarities um, that I can see happening. And not just that, also in some of the New Testament, there's things that says a man's a man's enemies will be the members of his household. Uh, Daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. You know that scripture. I can't point you to it, but it's in there. And I've read that off and on for years. I've saw that, and people thought, well, they would compare it to the times they're living in, but I could see that happening. I could. I can see Revelation playing out. I can. Um, and there are a lot of people who may not want to see it, even though they can look around and they can see all of that happening. Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know how the battle ends. I know how it wins in the end. But there's a there's not a one-sided battle. There's two. It takes two people, two parties, three parties. A battle is not just a solo battle. There's other beings involved in it, and it's spiritual. It's very spiritual, you all. When it says that you won't be able to buy or sell, I think it means that. I really do think it means that. Um, and do I think that this is partly where we're going? I can see it heading in that direction. I can. We have a little bit of time to prepare because you can look around. You can see what's happening in the world. This is global. It's global. Um, People from all different tribes, nations, languages, young, old, free, slave, rich, poor. Um, that is the words, paraphrasing it, that's in the book of Revelation. It is. They will all be forced, young, old, rich, poor, free, slave, every nation, every tribe. That means global, okay, will be forced. Um, and you'll have a choice. You'll have a choice. You either do it or you have consequences for not doing it. It says some will go into captivity. He who is to go into captivity he will go. And he who is to die by the sword he shall die. I've got to get a drink of coffee. And there are a lot that are seen under the altar when the vision is being seen. There's an account where John says, "Sir, those in white robes, who are they? Those under the altar in white robes or whatever, who are they?" He said, "Sir, you know. They are those who came out of the great tribulation. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Okay, therefore they are in front of the throne." Okay, but there were those who were under the altar who said, "How long, Lord, will you wait till you avenge our blood?" He said, "Well, you need to wait a little bit longer till the fellow number of your brothers and sisters are to be done to you, done to them as you were done." Okay, this ain't a game. This really isn't a game, you all. This is real world that's playing out, and some feel that they will not be here for that tribulation. They feel like they won't be here for it. They'll be caught up in the rapture, and there's three different theories about the rapture. There's a pre-tribulation. You won't be here for the tribulation. You'll be taken out of here. There is a mid-tribulation. You'll be taken out partway through. And there's a post-tribulation that you will be taken out of here after the things happen. And if you were to read Matthew 24, it says there'll be a time of distress unequaled from the beginning of the world and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. That's pretty horrific. When it says, I want to make sure you all, if I'm not speaking loud enough, yeah. When it says, if those days had not been cut short, no one would survive except for the elect. Those days will be shortened. But it says immediately after those days, the sun will not shine. The heavenly bodies will fall from the sky, and then they'll see the Son of Man coming on the clouds with great power and glory, and he will then gather his elect from the four corners, from the four winds. He will gather them immediately after that distress. So immediately, in some versions it says tribulation, immediately after that. Then he comes and he gathers his elect. And then after that's done, then something else much horrific happens after they are taken out. And I know people, they want to, there's no need to argue about whether you feel there's a pre-tribulation, a post-tribulation, or a mid-tribulation. That's not the point here. The point is we're living in some very trying times, and they're going to get very, very difficult. And this is global. This is global. Um, there's things being put into place. There are. People are having to make those decisions. It's no, if you want to, well, yeah, it really is if you want to, but if you decide not to, then you're going to be doing without. You're going to do without. You're going to be labeled. You're going to be separated. You're not going to have the things that you have now. You're not going to enjoy the luxuries that you have now in this life. You're not going to enjoy that job. You're not going to be able to go to these stores. You're not going to be able to go out into public without having restrictions placed on how far you travel. Okay? That's what we're seeing. This is global. Okay, it is, you all. I'm just being serious. I feel that we are in this time. I really do. And there are those in the book of Revelation who are in white robes, who came, they were the tribulation saints who came out of the great tribulation. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Therefore, they are in front of the throne. Okay? There are saints on the earth who come out of the great tribulation. Okay? There are. And guess where they ended up? They ended up before the throne. Okay? They ended up before the throne. And immediately after the tribulation of those days in Matthew 24, that's when he comes and he gathers the elect from the earth. That's when it happens. It says heaven and earth will pass away, and all those things must take place, but his words will never pass away. They have to take place first before he comes and gathers his elect. That is, the days are shortened. If he didn't, then they wouldn't survive, because there's more coming after that tribulation period. Okay, you all. Yeah, good evening if you're just tuning in. We're going to have to ask those serious questions. We're going to have to be prepared within our spirits. We're going to have to be very strong, very, very strong and anchored. And if you've got to meditate, meditate. If you've got to pray, pray. Pray without ceasing. Um, this is going to affect people of all walks of life, all faiths, all faiths, all religions. They will all, and they are all, having to make a decision, especially if they have certain jobs, because this is not just Christians, it's not just Muslims, it's not just atheists, it's not just Hindu, it's not just it's not just one particular religion. It's not. It's global. It's all the global religions, all the global faiths. They're having to make this decision too. And it's going to be more predominant. They're going to literally come face to face, and then boom, there'll be no more time. There'll be no more time. There won't be. You may say, Gina, you're just blowing it all out of proportion. You're just seeing things that aren't there. No, my eyes are open. My eyes are open. I don't want my eyes closed going forward. I don't. I've got to have my eyes completely open. I've got to have my ears to where they can hear, my eyes so they can see. Okay, I've got to be able to see in this growing darkness that's here. And it's going to get darker. It's like you had that period of the dark ages. I think we're going to revisit that period. It's like cycles that keep coming, is what it is, you all. So I do feel that the book of Revelation looks quite similar to what we're starting to see now. I do. And there may be some who don't want to think that they'll be here for it. Well, you are here for it. You're seeing the beginning of something. You are. And it's global. It's global. Um, so I would encourage you to pray, meditate, do what you need to do. Just prepare yourself and your family for those tough decisions, those tough times, um, because it's going to be very tough. It may, and some may even have to relocate. You know, I've heard of people leaving the state of Washington, okay, with their families. They literally left and went to other states because it was better for them. There was not all those restrictions. And you may see people doing that in other states too. They're leaving certain states because what is happening in those states, they want to try to get a better quality of life. And then you have those who are stuck. They don't have the means to even move. And see, my heart goes out to people like that. They don't have the money to move. They don't have the car. They don't have the means to relocate their families anywhere. Okay? But it's going to get to that point where you probably can't even travel from state to state, from city to city, from county to county, from province to province, country to country. There's perimeters that are set up, okay? There are. You know, when we was living in Berlin, East Berlin, this is when the very first Middle East stuff started happening. This was in the year 2000. No, it wasn't the year 2000. It was in 1990. 1990, the war broke out over there. And we were living in East Berlin. Um, and they shipped all of our doctors over there to the Middle East, all the military doctors. I was pregnant with my son at the time, and I had to go to the Krankenhaus, and I gave birth. And I had to see a German doctor throughout the rest of my pregnancy. But there were threats made against Americans, so we lived in housing. So they took these great big school buses and military trucks. They surrounded the elementary schools, the whole elementary school where we lived. They had big armored tanks in the middle of our housing subdivision. In every single housing complex, there was armored tanks. There was military personnel on top with their machine gun. There was a military personnel with their M16 at the very entrance. All entrances of our military housing, we had to show our military ID to come into our housing area. And as we got up to our address, our whatever it's called, condominium or something like that, duplex, there was someone standing out front. Even though they knew we lived there, they assigned the most highest ranking military personnel to check our IDs to make sure. See, that was big time security, to make sure that we had the ID to go in there, even though they knew we lived in there because they would live in there with us. That's how bad it got. Okay, I've never seen security like that, never seen checkpoints like that ever before. That's how it was on the base. And, you know, we never shipped our car there, but they literally, they take things seriously. You had to show your ID. That was back in 1990. And the same way with East Berlin, even though they had been liberated, the Russians owned a certain part. When we went to visit East Berlin, we all got in the bus and we got to Checkpoint Charlie. We got to Checkpoint Charlie, where the Brandenburg Gate is. We went through the Brandenburg Gate area too, but we had to look straight ahead. We had to hold our military IDs straight up against the window. And this man on the outside, he wrote down every single name on a paper. He went by every single ID, and then we were allowed to go in there with an escort. We went to the center somewhere in the, I don't know, East Berlin, but the buildings were all destroyed. They were still collapsed by the war. But on the Russian side, they were beautiful. They had rebuilt that area. It was so beautiful there on the Russian side, but the side that the Germans had, or whoever had it, they didn't rebuild. And then when we came back, I want to tell you something to just now. Okay, let me tell you something. So while I was in there was this lady who had a stand. She was selling things from the local area. I bought two East Germans, two tablecloths that were made in East Germany. This is horrific, you all. And there was this fan. You know those fans that you can open up and they got like pretty designs on them, peacocks? They're like little fans that fold up. Well, she had this fan there. And I opened it up and it was so beautiful. It had a design on it. I didn't know it at the time. I did not know it at the time. It was human flesh. It was skin, okay? It was human skin that was, it had holes in it. It had a design on it and strings that held it together. It was human skin, you all. I still have that fan. And I didn't realize that. All I saw was this beautiful fan. That's what I saw. And I did not know the atrocities that were done. I promise you, I did not know. That's how horrible. That's how horrible it was. That's what they did to the people who did not comply. And it's horrific. It's so horrific to think like that. That there was such evil on the face of the earth that literally hunted down people, hunted down them, and just did that to another human being. I still have that fan, and I didn't know. I didn't know. But it was just like it was a couple years ago. I was looking at it, and I opened it up, and that's what it is, you all. It's human flesh. That's what they did. They didn't let nothing go to waste. Nothing. It didn't matter to them. It didn't. The evil that was on this earth, it does not matter. It doesn't matter about it at all, you all. This is not a game. This is not a game. What's happening? Okay, you see, they faced that. That's what they had to endure, you all. That's what they had to endure. That's why I'm taking this so seriously, you all. This is serious. They had people turning in their neighbors just to save their life. Just to save their life. They turned their neighbors in. They hunted them down. They stripped them of their clothing. All of that. They put them in the chambers. They did all of that. All of that, you all. All of that. They marked them. There are survivors who tell the story, and there's those who say it never even existed. It existed. I have that fan today. It existed. It existed. And I would not have believed it. It was horrific enough for me to see the war the buildings that were destroyed that were still in rumble, or whatever it is, all torn down, just like that from the effects of the war that took place. Um, but to have that like that, and I have a East German border control hat. I have a Russian border control hat for when the wall went down. So yeah, human life does matter. It does matter. Okay? I don't want to be put in that position. I don't want to say, I don't want to have my neighbors saying that to me. Do you want to have your neighbors saying that to you? Do you want them saying, signaling you out and saying that you're not fit, so off you go? Do you? Do you like that oppression? Because that's what's coming. It's happened before. There's nothing new under the sun. What has been will be again, and God will call the past into account. What has been will be again, and there's nothing new. Nothing. How can that be? How can that be? Um, so I think I'm done. I think I'm done. I'm done, you all. I am. I'm done. So I think that the book of Revelations, my battery got low. I think the book of Revelations, there are striking similarities that are starting to look like that in our world. And this is global. He caused all, rich, poor, young and old, free and slave, from every tribe, every nation, all of it. That's what happened. It was global. This is global. This is global what's happening. And I urge you to please take it very seriously, because you're probably going to be faced with those difficult decisions. You're going to have to make them. I know you don't want to have to make them, and you should not be put in that position. No one should be put in that position to have to make that decision, and you shouldn't have to be put in that decision to make that position, to make that decision of whether or not you turn your neighbors in or not. Okay? And if you feel that you are among the privileged and you think everyone else, that's just too bad for them, fine. You go ahead and think about it. You want to be among the privileged, you go right ahead. You do what's best for you, okay? You think you won't have to worry about nothing? You've got a conscience inside of there. At least I hope you do. And that conscience will start looking around. And that conscience, what's left of you, if there's any humanity left in you, when it's all said and done, you're going to see what has played out. It will play out. You will see it. It is in the future, but we're speaking about it in the present. Okay, we are. It's all going to play out. And it's fine. It's fine. We're here for this moment in time. We're here for a reason. If we were not strong enough to face it, I don't think we would come up against it, but we're strong enough to endure it. We're strong enough to face it. And we won't shrink back. We won't shrink from death. We won't. We'll make it through one way or another. We will. We'll make it through. It may not be the ideal situation to make it through. It may not be the ideal situation. Just remember, this is just the body. This is just the body. Even though we matter, human life matters, humanity matters. But if that day should ever come, our spirits will live on. Our spirits will live on. Okay, you've got to separate this body from this spirit. Okay, you got to think of that because you are occupying this body on this earth, and they know it. The darkness knows it. It does. And they know that this body can feel pain. This body can feel all of that. They know it. The darkness knows it. Um, it's fine, you all. It's fine. I can sit here and say it now, but I too will probably cry. I will cry. My heart will probably cry out to God. It will, along with many, many others, as the months and years go by. And it will. It'll cry out for humanity. And it's those cries that reaches heaven. It's those cries that he comes back and he gathers his elect from the earth. Okay, that's when that happens. Or no one would survive. Okay? So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. I love you. I do love you. And your life matters to me. It does. And the decisions you have to make, we care because we're all in this together. We're spiritually connected. Our eyes are open. And if they're not open, they will be open. For those who are meant to have their eyes and ears open, they will be opened. This is serious, what we're facing. It's very serious. It is a matter of life and death, and also your spirit. It is your spirit. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you all so much for coming on here. I know it's early, you all, but we're going to have to make those, we're going to have to ask those serious questions, and we're going to have to make those serious decisions. Yes. Have a wonderful rest of your day.